pressing it. Like, I don't fucking care. The button has been pressed, yo. And I don't know what I don't know what Carissa's doing right now. Like, there's finagling and mishkabobbling and shit going on over there.
I don't have everything that I need, as far as like equipment. And I've kind of like moved things around because like last time we didn't do an Instagram live, so I wasn't really ready for an Instagram live today. I like my camera, this camera, the YouTube camera, like so much better. I would like to just have one camera that connects to both forms of media. But if we're gonna do the live, I have to have a live camera and then a recording camera. It's a lot of stuff. It's kind of crazy. Hi.
Yeah. Hi everybody. Welcome
Camera
to
one.
Yeah.
Camera two.
Yeah.
Camera one.
Yes.
Camera two.
Yeah. Well, everybody, welcome to American Groove. I am your host, Dave Lennon. And
this is your other host, Karissa.
Yay, Karissa. Woo! All right, everybody. Well, this is a all about stoner culture podcast. Today's topic is Drugstore. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. Just going to go into it. And hopefully we'll have fun with this shit. So, yeah. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to fucking...
You're like, we're professionals.
Not on this segment. No. Yes.
I had a strong desire to roll a joint, which is
strong desire.
We usually do that at the beginning of, I keep trying to decide where I'm going to look. You know where I'm going to look, David?
Where?
At you.
Well, I don't have any joints, honey. I am one of those people in a predicament currently where I am broke. So broke Dave has to resort to certain means to smoke the cannabis.
What does that mean?
I just smoke it out of a bong. Like, a pipe. Yeah. I'm not as cool as I used to be, unfortunately. So yeah.
I don't have one of those. So, that's why I roll these papers. It's the whole point. I roll the papers because I don't have one of those. But man, I think I'm exhausted. I think it's been a really long week. I hate that I'm so tired. For the podcast, usually I take better care of my...
We both do.
My energy health. I usually do a lot better. Dave is up looking around for something, not focusing on the podcast.
No, I'm trying to find a lighter because I'm trying to get high over here, honey.
Yeah, well, trying to find a lighter is a legitimate excuse.
Yeah.
100%.
Would you give me 1 second? I will be right back. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. This is why.
Yeah. I'll move my microphone down so you can hear me.
I'm coming. There's my lighter.
Just mumble away while Dave's gone. It's been a big week. I have a lot of things to celebrate. Back. I'm trying to talk.
What?
Oh my God, David.
Sorry. I know. I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, say what you want to say. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not.
What you want to talk about?
What I'm talking.
Go ahead. You interrupted me, so now you have the floor.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Whoa. Anyway, so we were talking about how today's topic is drugstore, and the interest and the reason why we kind of came up with this idea was kind of the conversation that we had before about opioids a little while back, and I was just like, we gotta make this into an episode. Like, we had a really great conversation that night, and we've had a few other conversations about it too, and like we both had like our experiences.
I don't have a lot of experience with opioids personally. Like, I've seen things happen to people.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even watched like the opioid like documentaries or anything like that. Like, I honestly don't have a whole lot of understanding or experience with it, but I've seen people have trouble with it in their lives. But you know, I mean, I'm not an expert or anything like that. What I was talking about is like it's been a long week. I received a phone call from a high school ex-boyfriend. And the
Oh
reason
yeah.
that I answered this phone call is because like my sister, her ex-boyfriend from high school is in jail. So like she doesn't get to talk to him. And you know, I mean, not that she really wants to, but I mean, like sometimes it's just nice to have the opportunity to like get that type of closure or something. And I was also just curious, like, you know, but he sounded terrifying. Like on the phone, he was just like terrifying. Yeah. Brittany says, rest in peace, Stephen Crane. Yeah, opioids killed some of my friends. Some of my friends killed themselves with opioids. Um, I'll say both.
Well, the reason,
Yeah. It
yeah,
was Scott that called
yeah.
me. And like maybe I shouldn't be like, you know, I wasn't gonna like blast his name, but thank you, Brittany. But yeah, I was worried about him. It doesn't make sense for me to answer the phone at all, but he sounded kind of like he was not going to be like a terrible asshole, which was interesting to me too. He was like, "Whoa, Karissa, like I was so excited to hear from you." Like that whole thing, I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, yeah.
Well,
It sounds like he's going through a rough time. And I mean, I do care, you know.
see, this is the difference between the two of us because, like, anybody that I've known in the past 13 less, like in the past 6 years, I don't have anything to do with them. Like, those, like, and actually, like, we brought this up, Brittany, which is important. You, like, because I was asking this to Karissa. I was like, okay, I mean, like, what was weird about the conversation? And you were like, I don't know. He seems like he's kind of like off his rocker. And I was like, can you elaborate on that? And then you were like,
Well, yeah, I mean, he even said my brain doesn't work right, you know, and I was like, you know, I mean, you can change that, you know, like it takes a lot of work and it takes like wanting it to change and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I think it's great that he's still alive. Um, I don't know.
it's just weird. We talked about this, okay? Like, I love how Brittany has been interacting, and I really appreciate you doing this. It's like been
Well, Brittany's a friend of mine from high school. She knew a lot of the same like guys that I did. We had like a same social circle, and we knew each other a little bit after high school too, but she dated one of my boyfriend's friends and one of my friends, and
damn.
he passed away a little bit after high school. I don't talk about that very much, but I think I've told you about it before, but it was um really painful and shouldn't have happened. Like honestly, I think a lot of people feel that way. But honestly, the the opioid pandemic, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with me. Um, you know, it's not about me. Um,
It's about all of us. Because to be very honest, like, we live in a society where we allowed it to happen. You know, I'm sorry to say this, okay? We live in a country where they raved a war against drugs for fucking 40 years. It's been wasted money gone down the drain every fucking corner. And in return, we got them creating the opioid epidemic. And, you know, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like, I have a little experience. You know, I haven't been like affected by it personally to a large degree, but it's still a huge issue. Like, it's something that like still to like address, you know, when you're like having conversations with people, because like when you have people that are in your past or people that you know,
well, I think it's interesting people say like, well, I just didn't have anything better to do. It's like, oh, so you just like completely fucking trashed your life and fucked all your relationships with the people around you just because you didn't have anything better to do. Like, that's I didn't have anything better to do isn't the truth. You know?
It's an
Like,
excuse.
it might be how they see it or something like that, but it's like, no, you have a thing where you like to escape and you need to feel a different chemical makeup than what you're feeling. And, I mean, I'm not a fucking doctor. I don't understand how it all works, but it's just like, it's not like there just wasn't anything better to do. I do understand that's like an easy way to like get into trouble or something like that. But like I said, I just started this biology class and we're just going over like basic chemistry, structure of elements and different things like that, and I mean, just that is to me really advanced. Like, humans did a lot of studies just to figure those things out, and those are just like the building blocks, the foundation of chemistry. And then what we have here is, pharmaceutical drugs. It is such an advanced level of chemistry. No one should be fucking with that stuff. Like, I don't even know if we should be making it. Like, it's so advanced. Like, and it alters us so intensely. Like, I understand that medicines need to be made for people who have severe pain, but like, like, excuse me, like, should we really be dabbling with this kind of thing? Like, why is a pill what we figured out? We didn't figure out how to like change pain in some other way. We'll just do it with a pill.
Okay, so like you got to understand where most people think that, you pop a pill in your mouth and it solves your problems. You go to your doctor tells you what to do, you take the pill and you're fine. Pills don't fix your problems. They don't. All a pill does is just alleviate a problem that you have. Okay? The thing that people have the fear of alternative healing. Okay. And I'm talking about psilocybin. I'm talking about LSD. I'm talking about MDMA. I'm talking about cannabis. Alternative healing is not telling you to give up the pills. What alternative healing is telling you is this: there is a more natural way of you healing your body. There is a way of allowing your brain to heal. It's allowing your mindset to change so you can heal yourself. The reason why we have such a problem with this idea is not because of, like you said, the advancements of biology or chemistry or the way that human genomes and structures work and function and operate. No, it's about money. It's all about money. It's because big pharma can make a shitload off of you if you have high blood pressure and they need to prescribe you pills, or high cholesterol,
Well, it
or
just seems like
diabetes.
some type of competition with like all the other drug markets. It's like we've got to compete with all the cocaine that's coming into the country. So why don't we just keep the pharmaceutical drugs going, because it's like our version. I don't know. I know that in Florida, whenever they started releasing, well, they started giving the right for people to have dispensaries or to have medical marijuana, basically. The death rate for opioids dropped a little bit. So
Well, the biggest problem.
people are doing these opioids in these retirement areas. People are doing opioids and it kills them. And so but if they allow CBD or they allow marijuana dispensaries, and the older people with the pain are going to go there, because you can get gummies, whatever you want, stuff. But it cut down on how many people were dying from opioids. So And this is just a study, you know, an actual study.
Well, look at Portugal. Portugal decriminalized all drugs, and their crime rate has gone down. So has their death rates has gone down as well. Because guess what? People that are doing the, you know, the hardcore drugs, they're doing it in a safer environment. It's cleaner. There's actual clean needles that are being used. And you may say it's bad and you may say it's disgusting, but look, and this may sound crazy, but like, why should heroin be illegal? I know it's bad. So is hydrocodone. So is oxycodone. And those things are legal and those are prescribed to patients. So you have to ask yourself is like, you can say what's good and bad, right? In the end of the day, as people, you get to choose, okay? You have the right to choose what you want to do. Why should you have somebody to tell you, oh, no, you can't do that because we said you can't do it, so now it's illegal? Who the fuck are you?
There's still got to be some type of age limit on it.
Okay, 100%. There needs to be certain rules and regulations, but you can't take away people's freedoms. You can't.
I mean, it's illegal to shoot yourself in the head. It's still manslaughter. It's illegal to kill your own self because you're killing somebody. So why shouldn't it be illegal to harm yourself? And so that's what I think it is that maybe we should look at how much starts to really fucking harm you. And I'm sorry, but one injection of heroin is what harms you. So in my opinion, like I can't argue it. I also haven't looked into it enough to really like sit here, and I've never talked to anybody, you know, who's argued both sides or whatever, but like I don't think that heroin should be legalized. If it fixed things and I saw some research on it and stuff like that and it actually helped, then like okay. But like it hurts people.
It does hurt people, but it hurts people. It hurts people even more when their only option is dirty needles in an unsafe environment. What hurts them even more is that they're too afraid to go to the hospital because they'll be thrown in prison. So they die in the streets. When you remove those fears, okay, and people are able to do it in a clean space. I know there's been comments. We'll go over them in a second.
That's a good one, isn't it?
And where they're able to get proper care if they overdose. Okay. The chances of saving the person's life, the chances of the person not being in danger of themselves has been limited. But again, it's not taking away from the fact that heroin is bad. It is bad for you. It can kill you. But remembering you cannot take that right away from a person, even though we both know it's bad. Person's going to make their choice. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm sorry, but like rights are a man-made idea anyways. And I still kind of feel like it's my right, you know, is basically this whole brainwashed thing that America created anyways. And it's like, it's great that, you know, we have these rights, but who said that we needed to write them all down to have them anyways? Like, I'm fucking sorry, but like some of this shit is quite obvious. Like, but since everybody put so many rules on everyone, that's when we had to start creating rights. And like in a perfect world, we wouldn't even have to say what they are, you know, but it's just like, I'm trying to say that rights are kind of a man-made idea.
Well, they are a man-made idea, and I agree with you on that point. Somebody brought up a comment, which I think is important to cover, because here's the thing also, like, even if this shit was even made legal, okay, they're going to figure out, them, meaning government, illegal organizations, corporations, big pharma, as well as among others, are going to figure out ways of capitalizing as much as they can on the legal market. Example of this is California, okay? The government has done so well to make it so expensive and so difficult for people in the state of California to grow marijuana legally. So I don't know. Like you have to.
It's a really big investment.
It is
to grow marijuana. I mean, honestly, like one of the hardest things in California is to have the space that you need for it. Not everybody has room to grow things outdoors. A lot of people don't have room to grow things indoors. You know, a 2-bedroom apartment, it can be quite difficult to score at a decent price. And like, what else do we have? Somebody just saying, hey, you guys.
hey.
Yeah, I mean, I really do think that the only thing that you can do is just not get involved with opioids. Like it's basically the best solution is just don't get involved from the beginning, because it starts to kind of make your decisions for you, and it takes over your life, and it's really hard to get away from it because it starts to become like your social circle. Like we talked about the food being like a social thing, a bonding thing, a thing that goes on between people and they share it and whatever else. Well, same thing with needles and heroin, you know, and it becomes your social circle, your life, your people, what you guys do. It feels good to people, you know, so like it's
It
really
makes
hard
you.
to get away from.
It also makes you stupid. My experiences that I've had, like with like hydrocodone, which is like 2 or 3 times, I don't like the effect. That I hate to say this, like I'm one of those people where I smoke cannabis pretty much on a day-to-day basis. I am a paranoid motherfucker. But the thing is like I rather take that paranoia than the shitty way that hydrocodone just made me feel. Like my head is so heavy. I just wanted to collapse. I've never had that with cannabis though.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of negative side effects with painkillers.
Here you go.
A
See?
lot of things that correlate with other things that you need to take, prescriptions that don't go well together, things like that. As far as I know, marijuana doesn't really like interfere with very many prescriptions, as far as I know. So
There are a few. I don't know their names, but there are.
Yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to use it during pregnancy, you know?
Correct. Yes.
But why would that be? You know what I mean? Like,
Because
is it just
cannabis.
smoking in general? Because I know that, like, if you're smoking, there's not as much oxygen going in to you, so then there's not as much oxygen going into the baby. But, like, I don't completely know why. What were you gonna say?
Well,
Sorry.
it's because cannabis is a psychoactive.
Sounds nice.
No. So the thing is, cannabis actually has hallucinogens in it. Okay, and one of the ways that cannabis interacts with your brain is through rewiring. So it kind of rewires the way that your brain. So, for example, what happens is
This doesn't sound good.
It's actually not that bad. What happens for most people is you slow down. Cannabis will slow you down as
slow your roll.
Slow your roll. For others, for example, it can make you more creative. The way that it, and again, because the thing about cannabis, and then when you talk about like mushrooms or LSD or MDMA, all of these, they affect your brain, the way that your brain is functioning and operating, and they heighten and tune certain things, make things that you weren't as sensitive to. Now you're even more sensitive to. For example, like I mentioned before, one thing that cannabis is notoriously famous for, it makes you very paranoid. I am always very paranoid. I've just gotten used to it.
Yeah, that's what my ex said. I was like, well, why do you need to do like terrible drugs like that? Because like he was saying that he wasn't doing heroin, but then like him and his friends were like talking about it, you know. So like
Oh, okay, all
I
right.
know that they had or something like that, but he never said like yes I have or anything. But I'm thinking like that's what it sounds like. But I don't really know. And like honestly, if he has done heroin and he's like still kicking it and he's okay, then like that's impressive. Well, actually not impressive. Those are terrible words
Well,
to use.
heroin
But
today
I'm
is today majority. Well, you know this majority of heroin today
fentanyl.
is it has fentanyl. Yeah, majority
Well,
of it.
dude, I watched this video that was like recorded just not too long ago of this couple, two men,
Mm-hmm.
and did you see it? It was crazy. They're these two homeless men that live, you know, downtown, and I guess they spent some time in New York and stuff, but they're both like, you know, drug addicts, they're addicted. But they were exceptional people to listen to and hear their story, but
Send it
they were
over to me.
talking it was amazing. We'll maybe connect it to this or something and people can
Yeah,
watch it. But I mean, it's also heartbreaking. Like I cried watching it. But they love each other and they take care of each other and kind of watch out for each other and they do drugs together too, you know, and they were talking about like how they'd like to eventually be sober, or at least the one did. And it was really interesting to like watch their dynamic with one another, kind of see how like they would like complete a sentence like together, you know, like they're definitely like, I feel like something that happens with people who have been through a lot of trauma, it's comforting to bond up with somebody who's gonna like
like-minded.
stand up for you. Like I feel like when I was a kid and I was going through like a hard time, like
Right.
maybe a semi-abusive time, I would get very overly protective of my sisters, and we
Mm-hmm.
would both get like really like defensive, you know, like don't fuck with her kind of attitude. And it's something that happens when you get fucked with like a lot. And so you can see that like they have to stand up for each other and that they've been through a lot, you know. And it was a really interesting interview, but they talked about how up in New York there's a lot of fentanyl,
There is.
and they said that because they asked him, well, what's the biggest difference between, you know, New York, being homeless in New York and being homeless in LA? And he said, oh, I wish that I could spend more time in New York, but you know, we had to come down here. I don't know, I would guess because of the weather, but I'm not sure why.
I hate to say this, but people that are homeless in New York have it a lot better than homeless people that are in LA. And primarily the reason is that in New York, they cannot be out on the streets. So a lot of them have to figure out ways of staying indoors and they get very creative doing it.
Like
And
squatting.
squatting, there are ways of getting into the subway underground, like literally under the tracks. There are lights that are on there. They bring down tents and they live under the tracks.
Like live inside of there.
Yeah.
I would I would live wherever I needed to.
But the thing that people don't realize is a lot of these people that are homeless, a lot of them live like lives like ours, and they fell to the addictions of opiates during the 90s and the 2000s when the pandemic really hit badly. And they got themselves into a really bad situation. And a lot of them, unfortunately, they're stuck. Okay. People don't understand.
Well, once you get behind, you know, you're behind.
It's hard to get back.
Like getting behind, I mean, it is hard as fuck just to stay on track. So when you get behind, you're fucking behind. And then you're behind over and over and over and over again. You never get out of it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, you know, like turn things around, but that's quite easy in a big city.
Give me a sec. Hold on.
David,
Twixie's,
David
t- t-
wants a second.
yeah, Twixie's having a little bit of a manic episode. So just give me one sec.
Trixie's having a manic episode. Yeah, what a serious, you know, David always somehow gets me to talk about the serious topics. Like, I didn't really want to spend an hour talking about, oh my God, screwed up the microphone. Professional over here. I didn't really want to spend an hour talking about opioids. I feel like I was kind of like tricked into it almost. I don't know what's going on here. Someday I'll have someone in charge of my microphone for me and it'll be like perfect. I'll be like, thank you, sir. I appreciate you very, very much. And I will already know his name. I won't have to ask. What is a podcast without David? You know?
Sorry about that. She she's having a little bit of an anxiety attack, so I had to.
Our guest here that was watching did a shout out to Cheech and Chong. And what great guys Cheech and Chong were.
What?
Yeah, you see that in the comments down there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a shout out to Cheech and Chong, right? And you say
I
Cheech
don't
and
know,
Chong.
because I thought El Chapo was like one of the members of the cartel.
Oh, I didn't read it correctly then. I
Oh
read
my!
Cheech and Chong.
I was
It's
like,
so far away. It's like way up there. It's
yeah,
like further
it's
than my
really
arm length.
yeah. What were you, Twixie?
What's up with your cat?
I don't know. She's having a little bit of a situation. What were you talking about while I was while I was gone?
I said that a podcast without David just isn't that great.
I mean,
You know, like I don't ever want to do my own podcast. I've seen you like do like a whole recording just by yourself. I don't ever want to do that.
I've done that before.
I know.
I've done solo, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
it's hard. The thing like that you learn is that you create the audience in your head. You know, you kind of just allow them to exist, you know, and just keep on talking. I know, like, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just talking to a screen. It's weird, but you know, get through it. It's all right. Wow, we went completely off topic, but hey, that's what American Groove is all about. Oh,
I spoke about how I kind of feel like you tricked me into talking about a serious subject, and that like with American Groove I always want to have fun, but somehow you got me to talk about opioids.
listen, I'm a sneaky bastard, honey. I get, you know,
Darkest topic.
very dark topic. It
It's so
is.
sad.
It is a very sad topic, but you know, it's I don't know. I feel like it's a realization and it's just an understanding of people being more accepting to alternative healing. You know, it's not bullshit. It's not crap. It's backed by actual research, real doctors, real physicists, real scientists that have actually like done studies and done the work. Um, and the research that's coming out now with microdosing, like with shrooms and people using cannabis for different types of healing, people going down to Panama and doing ayahuasca journeys to reconstruct their life.
I'm not a big supporter of that one, but you know, go on.
I am, though. I believe that alternative healing is very beneficial because it teaches you, instead of popping a pill and thinking your problems are all solved, you figure out what you need, what you want, and how you're going to do it.
So yeah, sometimes drugs definitely show you an inner desire kind of more clearly. Like it can make you realize that you need to stop bullshitting, and that like if you really want to make yourself happy, you got to be like a little bit more true to you. And I mean, like, maybe some people don't need that, but like
No.
I've been like a people pleaser, you know, and so like doing drugs kind of like mostly just like some mushrooms or like an acid trip here and there got me in touch with kind of my own inner needs and and gave me a self-reflection that I didn't have before. Kind of a out of body look at yourself. And sometimes I would see that, I'm quite pleased and that I should stop being so hard on myself and that everything is, not so bad. There's a lot of good things that happen when you have trips. There's a lot of release there. So I think that it's good when not done too much. Um, yeah, I think if people need to have, like a variety of hobbies and things that they're involved with, because like there were kids in high school and stuff where it was like they just fucking roll every single weekend, and it's like you kind of gotta like break things up a little bit, right? Like, I don't know. Like,
You asked for a happier topic, so more fun. So I went with this one, but you make a great point. You make a really great point, because when you're it's all about how you use something, right? Okay. You can always you can abuse anything. Okay. And there's a really, like, for example, there's a proper approach to um doing, for example, shrooms or doing LSD. There's an approach to doing cannabis. It's not like a book of rules, it's just a guide to help you find what best suits you. Like, best figures out like how you want to heal, how you need to heal. Sorry, that's a better way of putting it. And the trips are the most important, because it's the part that gives you the tools that you're going to use to fix the issue. It's going to help you get those tools. So I feel like, yeah, I do agree with you. Like, the trip is a very crucial part of all of it. And drug or no drug, it's the way that you want the experience to be. Really, that's really what it comes down to.
I think those types of things can be like achieved without drugs. I
Of
don't know
course,
that I don't know that if drugs are like a quick and easy way to like get somewhere or
they're
not.
not quick and easy.
I don't think so. I think it's like now that I've done it, like what I guess I'll just tell you what I think about it, as opposed to like trying to know everything about it. I just try and talk about it from my own personal experience. I don't know how things are for other people.
You
I
only
can't
know until
say
you know until you talk to them.
I can't say do what I did, like because
No,
everybody's different.
no, of course not. But that's why I said there's a guide. For example, the way that I've guided myself through my cannabis journey has been unique. I figured out the different strains, um, different percentages of THC, and, for example, when I'm using CBD products, of what I need, all through trial and error. You know, I've had, I'm not gonna lie, like, I've had bad trips, but very bad trips, many. And I've had some great experiences, but that's what comes with it. And is it fast and easy? No, it's slow. But again, like, I think that's an important part about alternative healing is being realistic. Is there's no quick, easy fix. Okay. You know what they say? It's too good to be true. Like, the thing is, healing and building and making and creating is a slow process, especially when it comes to personal, physical or mental healing.
Mm. I've just seen drugs fuck a lot of people up.
Depends what you're taking.
Yeah, some people just shouldn't be taking anything,
Of
man.
course. No, I agree with you. And you make a very valuable point, because the thing is, I've said this before, there has been research that's shown that cannabis for people that have slight schizophrenia or early stages, it can make it even worse. For some people, it can make them slip from reality and be completely gone. There are negative consequences, just like pharmaceutical pills, like we mentioned. There are those side effects. But again, like we said, you as a person have to make a choice what best, you know, suits you, like, what you want to do. Okay. Whether it be wrong or right, you're given in front of you the pros and the cons. You're being told the benefits and the side effects. Now you're making the choice of what you want to choose.
I mean, there are a lot of people that just are not interested.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't even have to tell them no. They're
You
just
can tune.
not.
You can tune off now. This is your cue to leave.
No,
For
I mean
those
like
people,
people who just
kidding.
don't,
I'm kidding.
people who are never gonna do drugs and they never consider it or anything. It's just like not anything that they are interested in. You don't have to tell them no. You don't have to make it illegal. Like they're just not gonna do it. Like that's funny to me.
The issue with the war on the drugs is just the waste of funding.
The waste of funding. I mean, the potholes on the freeway are out of control and the taxes here are out of control. Like,
Can you
no,
imagine?
I'm
Can you
so
imagine?
done.
Can you imagine if people can go to school and actually learn to be LSD chemists, or synthesize other types. Okay, or for example, they work on shrooms or different types of psilocybins. Um, and you're able to adapt that into society. The long scope of it is like this: A, you give a diverse way of people getting their health taken care of. Like you mentioned, there are people that are not going to be interested, right? So they're not going to buy that stuff anyway. We know this, okay? But there are going to be people that are. So if you have a society where you have people that can actually develop safe, healthy, beneficial products, again, with the side effects, because we know all things comes with side effects. You then create this really great environment where people have more choice. They have more in front of them that they can choose for.
I
They're not,
swear it's all just going to be taken over by some fucking
of course,
pharmaceutical thing anyways.
of course.
They just buy everything. Like we always used to say that, like, wouldn't Marlboro just come in and buy, whoever made all the newest pre-rolls? I mean, I used to make so many predictions about what it would be like once marijuana was like taxed and like, whatever else. And like so far, there are a lot of individual brands, like, and there's still a lot of like individual creativity like being, like made in the THC pot industry.
Yeah, the
But I
cannabis.
worry about when it becomes just like this like generic like here are your camels like bullshit, like I feel
I
like
don't
it
think.
loses its individuality when it becomes ran by some like big ass pharmaceutical place. So I also am saying that like my predictions are not always right.
I think their their weakness is not realizing the strength because of this control on the cannabis industry, and because of all these rules and regulations, and because of Substance One federally. You've then created this world where this boom of creativity, where so many farmers and owners, cannabis owners of dispensaries, are able to individualize themselves, make these great brands, make these really great products. Like, for example, you gave me that pen. That company is amazing. Like, it's really cool. It's a great design. It's real practical. It's a great product. You have all of these businesses doing all of these things. By the time it's all federal and it's all open and it's all legal, what's going to happen is like this: the the indie, the private, the creative world behind the cannabis industry will be so strong. What are they going to do? They run the industry. They can't take it away from them. They can keep on taxing them, but
I was just feeling like they would just like buy them out,
I don't know how they would do
or
that.
just like bigger companies would buy all the tiny companies, kind of like how like Anheuser-Busch will buy like all the smaller breweries and stuff like that. Like you're like, oh, I got this really great, goose ale or whatever, and then you find out it's really
Goose
just made
Island.
by Budweiser. Everything's just made by Natty Ice. I have no idea. It's just like I that's what I'm kind of talking about, but I also am kind of concerned about like, you know, if if microdosing became the new way to manage depression and pain and
Hmm.
things like that and whatever else, this would mean that we could make our own drugs for ourselves, because like you honestly could make marijuana for yourself or make mushrooms for yourself. But it's like, I don't really believe that they want us to be able to suffice ourselves. Like I think they want us to depend on them. And yes, I am saying, them and us.
There is a them and us because they're the ones that started the war on drugs. We didn't. And they started the war on drugs because of money. And right now, I think the most incredible thing that we have is this small boom or the small advancement, like we were talking about microdosing, because you're right, microdosing allows people to have more options to really like take control of their own health and growing your own mushrooms, growing your own cannabis. Um, they have every right to be afraid of giving us more control than we already have, because the more control we have, they don't stay in power. They die away and they don't get replaced. So like they got to do whatever they can to keep themselves going as long as possible. And we know that. We know
I
that.
just wonder why, and I'm sure someone knows the answer, but like I just wonder why it was ever even
Please
allowed.
comment below if you have an answer.
Like why was it even ever allowed for them to be allowed to make, you know, pharmaceutical heroin, more or less? Like why? But I mean, that's coming from a person that believes that, COVID-19 was made. So,
What do you mean? Back up for a second. What do you mean by pharmaceutical grade? You're referring to like medical grade heroin?
well, I mean, like Oxycontin, opioids, pharmaceutical opioids, stuff
Oh,
that
I
was
see.
made
Yeah, yeah. Well,
made by a company.
I think no, Vicodin is cocaine. I'm trying to
I
remember
don't
which one.
know.
Well, yeah, Vicodin has cocaine in it, if I'm not mistaken. You can fact check this, but I'm pretty sure Vicodin is the one that has cocaine in it.
I've never heard that.
No, like believe it or not, there are painkillers and medications that are in the pharmaceutical industry that consist of heroin, Vicodin. There are other drugs that are in there that are
Well,
in
I
these
believe that
medications.
we just know nothing. But what I thought
I
was
mean, I
that
actually like.
Oxy.
Okay, let's just clarify something. You may know nothing, but I actually have done a little bit of research on these topics. So like, I'm not I'm not a maven on everything, but I do have um a clear picture of how certain things work. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oxycontin. Oxycontin's a opioid. I was pretty sure.
Yes,
And
it
it's
is.
like basically what people use in place of heroin in a pharmaceutical way.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. It's interesting though how like they're just switching from a liquid form drug to just a pill drug that primarily is giving them very similar effect. I mean,
I
similar
think that I
effects.
think that they're still turning it into like, they're still injecting it. They go through like
Oh, I
a
see.
process. I do.
Int-
Yeah.
Interesting.
They, do the whole shebang. I'm not gonna explain it. No reason to.
No, we're not going to explain that. I haven't heard that before, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, I believe,
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. They're telling like it was my ex and like his like friend or whatever that he's staying with. And they were telling these just like stories that are just like terrifying, you
By
know?
the way, I've never told you this though. I don't mind getting injections.
Ugh.
Never
Well,
have. It
I don't
doesn't
know. My
bother
ex
me.
said he hates needles. I've met some people who hate needles.
I don't hate needles.
It's not that I hate needles. I avoid them if possible, but if I have to get my blood drawn, I have to get my blood drawn,
I don't.
like if I had like
Yeah. I mean, like I have like this because I have tattoos. Like, I don't know. Like the doctor's like, okay, are you ready? And I'm like, yeah, just go already. She's like, okay. I'm like, bitch, just put the fucking thing in already. Like, you don't have to like warn me.
somebody just gave us like a million like fire symbols.
Ooh,
I don't know who it was, but it was like popping off. There's like
a million fire symbols.
all these
Wow.
little flames shooting on the Instagram page. It was kind of exciting.
Well, I was not looking. Well, thank you for all the fire.
Fire.
Yeah, in the fire. Um, where were we? I don't remember. Wait, where were we?
It's okay. I mean, somehow I got the conversation away from opioids and then I brought the conversation back to opioids again. And then I bashed on the US government for a little bit and then it got a little dark.
Mm-hmm. A little
That's where we
dark.
are. Yeah.
It's pretty dark, actually.
Yeah, I don't know, like I text you this morning or you text me and I was like, how you doing today? You're like, I'm all right. And there was this just kind of like, oh, we're okay. So like today's not like but
Yeah,
honestly,
no,
like
no.
I'm supposed to have a girls' night out tonight.
I mean, there was an event today that I was going to, but the thing is, the event was at 5, and it ends at 8, and it was in Fort Lauderdale, and I was like 30 minutes away.
You missed
So
it, bro.
yeah, I was going to go, but like I was like, but if I went at 5, I wouldn't have been able to make this. So yeah,
Aww.
that's all right. There's always other events. They're having roller skating in a few weeks, which I'm looking forward to, which is very exciting. I like
Yeah.
roller skating.
I like to roller skate too. It's just like it's kind of a rush trying to keep on top of it.
On top, you mean not fall over and break every bone in your body?
It was pretty terrifying. What's um what's a roller skate night consist of for you?
Definitely not to fall over.
Dude, I don't want to fall over in front of people.
No, it's embarrassing. Well, I have my own custom roller skates because I'm a size 13.
Oh my God, what do they look like?
They're sneakers that have been converted. So the bottom has been pulled out and they put in the metal piece, like the bracket, and then
Okay.
they resealed the sole, like the front piece of the shoe, and they attach the wheels. So like they literally like mold a sneaker over roller skates.
Wow. That's really
Mhm.
cool. You got those on the internet?
I bought them. They were from California. I had them shipped to New York when I was living out there, and they're so cool. And like they're a pair of sneakers, so like it's kind of hip.
How did you learn to roller skate?
Mac.
Oh, your brother?
Yeah, Mac taught me how to roller skate and rollerblade.
Wow. Who taught him?
I don't know. Actually, so shout out to my awesome brother, Mac. Besides that, actually introduced me to the internet at a very young age. He did. Like that's
Big
how I knew
deal.
it's a big deal. Like he was my bigger brother. And so yeah, I don't know if you ever knew that, but yeah, that's how I was introduced to the internet through Mac. 'Cause he had a computer in our house. And he had AOL downloaded. so he'd be able to go on the internet. And I told you this, like, I remember this as a kid, just sitting there and looking at the screen and like seeing the little guy, just like,
What, the little like running man?
yeah, the little running man till it loaded.
Yeah, I can't remember. I feel like I remember the first time I ever saw a laptop. Like that was like a really big deal. Like I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck, you know? And I think that the laptop had the internet. And I think that he showed me how emails work, these electronic messages that were sent back and forth. And I believe that he had like an instant messenger or like an MSN messenger or something like that, and he showed that to me too. I would say I was probably in second grade. That sounds about right to me.
You know what's funny?
Maybe there, I
Because
don't know.
we just got a comment that said a shout out to the days when the internet. It's true. I remember as a kid, we used to get in the mail the CD-ROMs, the discs you used to put
Oh
in the computer. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, they used to come in the
we
mail, and I
used to,
remember
yeah.
they were squares. You remember they were like a square, and it was like stuffed in there. I remember it was like plastic, and you'd pull out the CD-ROM and you'd put it in your computer. Oh my god, good times.
That's true. I forgot it. Well, we didn't have the CD, so I don't really know how we
You
got
had
it to
to
work.
you had to order them, and usually I remember you had to call them. You gotta remember something, like for a long time the way you used to order things were you'd call. So you'd call up the company. It was a 1-800 number because 1-800
Yeah.
was toll free. Remember? Toll free was
Well,
1-800.
you can't order online, obviously, and then you can't order
Um
on your phone.
we
And
it was hard because like remember like in the mid 2000s, like you'd press the add to, I always remember this. You press the add to car button and then it would freeze. Bye. Thank you so much for joining.
Brittany's been hanging out.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Have a good
Uh
day.
I remember that like what was I talking about? You gotta help me over here.
Ordering stuff on the phone.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like when you would, like for example, okay, so in like 2006, my mom tried ordering a flight to Florida, and I remember this like it was yesterday. I remember we were on the computer. We went to Continental. They no longer exist anymore. Now they're part of United, but the page just wouldn't load, so we couldn't book the flight. So we had to call up the 1-800 number and book the flight over the phone, and that's how like I was just saying, like this is kind of the shit that you used to have to do. Like you call up the airline to book your flight. You wanted like to buy something, you'd call up the company, you'd give them the number in the catalog. Remember that? You like fold the page. You
There was
remember
like this catalog, and it had like all these like it had all these pictures, and then it had a number or a letter next to every picture, and everybody had a freaking catalog.
everybody,
Everybody had
everybody,
catalogs that would they'd send to your house, and in the middle or the back of the catalog there'd be all these weird pages that just had little boxes to check, and then you'd fill in your address in the little boxes too. It all looked like a bunch of crosswords, and it was really confusing. Like only older ladies knew how to fill that shit out. Like,
I
and they
know.
like made it that way. Like they didn't want kids to know how to fill it out because they didn't want kids like fucking with it or whatever. But yeah, ordering stuff in catalogs. We had the Victoria's Secret catalog growing up, and that was like the best catalog to get. It was really, really beautiful.
It
And
was a naughty catalog.
it was always shocking, that like Victoria's Secret had like clothes like in the catalog. Like they had like jeans and sweaters
Oh
and
my god.
dresses and stuff like that. And like, in the stores there was nothing like that. But also like the other thing is that like we didn't have all those stores around us either.
No, we
Like,
didn't.
just everything's just grown tenfold
Yeah, because
now.
like when we were growing up, we had the mall. Like for example, we had a mall. It was 20. It was a 25-minute drive. It's called Palisades Mall. It's like I think the fourth largest mall in the United States. It's a
Wow.
massive mall, and a lot of people go to that mall. Anybody that's in New York, you want to have a good time, you get to the Palisades Mall if you're around the city. And that's just like how our lives that's just how our lives were. Like this is how we got our information. You know, it's just like wherever we connected with. And I think this is so crucial with the topic that we're talking about today is like the opioid issue, this whole problem, like kind of stemmed around that period because people didn't know, or people knew and they could get away with it more easily. We in a way are kind of blessed of how far that we've gotten. We're, you know, now we're able to connect more easier. We're able to spread the message more closely. We're able to get more in detail than we were before. And I'm happy that I'm a part of that, to be honest. You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think like spreading word about like how important it is to be careful and spreading your opinion, your experiences,
Of course. Yes.
over the internet. Yeah, I mean, I think that the podcast itself is supposed to be a place to like get away from your own, you know, situation, kind of like burn some time while you're driving or like something like that, you know. So it's
Yes.
like the podcast isn't exactly a place where I'm going to fix the whole world, but the podcast could be a place where, you know, like it's a comforting place for somebody. So like maybe listen to the podcast instead of doing opioids.
Ooh.
You know?
Damn. Maybe we'll take you on a trippy dippy trip over Marmalade Sea.
Like have some other hobbies, like listening to, you know, podcasts and
You know, one thing I can tell you, like from my own experience, like when it comes to trauma, and there has been addiction. I've dealt with that with people and friends. Life is hard. You know, we're like, we're not gonna lie. We're gonna be honest. Life is really hard. And I can understand why somebody can get addicted to oxycodone and be popping those pills because it's hard to stay in reality, because when you're able to be in, especially heroin is a great example of this too, it takes you away from this world into something that you could be happy in, and you don't realize the price that you're paying to do that. um I don't think
Yeah, I
it's
think a lot of times people just want to escape. They don't think about,
right.
you know, they're not caring about it, losing everything. And
No,
you already feel like you lost everything
they want to get
sometimes, you
out.
know?
They want to get out. They want to get out of their
Well, I think it's
cage.
like, yeah, the cage. It's hard when you haven't figured out some way to be in control of your own life. Like, I mean, before I didn't have the ability to have a home of my own. I had to live with people who treated me poorly. And ever since I've gotten a space that's safe, that's my own, like, you know, my mental health is like way fucking better. Like I'm like a better human. So I can just imagine, you know, like if you're stuck in a living space that you can't deal with, you know, different things like that, like hopefully people are trying to understand, you know, what other people have been through,
We're
why,
trying.
you know.
We're
Yeah, I
trying.
mean, fucking give it a shot.
It, you know, it all it takes is being able to listen. You know, if we want to be able to take care of the people around us, we have to be able to be there for those people. And the way that we have to be there for those people is we have to be able to listen to them. You know, the reason why people have these addictions, the reason why these people have these mental illnesses is because of the society that we've made. We have to admit this. We have made a society that makes people mentally ill. And there's there's a benefit, but look, there's a benefit of how much we have now. We're able to live safer, healthier, longer, and better lives. Like I said before, there's always side effects to the benefits.
Some people are just fucking nuts, and they're gonna get themselves attached to things and use
Right.
them in terrible ways.
Yes.
Like I'm trying to I'm like, I don't know if it's like society, and like different all the time. Sometimes some people are just fucking terrible, and they're gonna get their hands on some things, and use them in terrible ways. Like, drugging women and different things like that. It's like some people are going to use things the wrong way, and it's just because they're bad people, and it might not be anything to do with society at all. Like, they just are attracted to craziness. There are some motherfuckers that are just attracted to chaos. They just want to stir things up. They just want to make shit wild. They just want to get involved. They like danger. They're just, believe it or not, there's just people who are just, they're just fucking crazy. They don't care about anyone else. Like, and there's just people like that. And they fucking ruin everything for everyone, and they take advantage of everything and throws everything off course.
All it takes is all it takes is one person to fuck everything up for everybody else. And that's usually what happens.
There's so many people, they fuck everything up for everyone else. That's why we can't have, that's why I can't, that's why we can't get rid of, guns. That's why we can't like stop funding, our military. It's because like everybody's already fucking evil. Like, I don't know. It's a bummer. It's like if you took away all the drugs, somebody's just gonna make more drugs again.
That'd be fucking stupid to stop funding the military. We would be fucking dead ducks in the water.
Like, I don't know. People think they know everything. I don't know everything.
We need to appreciate, like, the truth is like, all the shit, like, we have to appreciate that we have a military, and we have to appreciate that we have that type of security, because I will tell you this right now, and I'm sorry to say this, most Americans will freak the fuck out if there was ever like a war in our land. Like, we don't realize we are like in this perfect little baby
bubble
of like, no one can really attack us because we're kind of too far away from everybody. But we've kind of made peace with Canada and Mexico, where they kind of have to rely on us to survive, so they can't really attack us.
I don't even like saying it. Like, I don't like putting it out there, like saying it. Like, it's like, don't jinx it, man. Like,
it's true though. That's kind of how America has survived.
It's strange. I told you about like before. Here, we're gonna go here. Before
yes,
9/11,
we are.
Did you hear what I said? I said before 9/11.
Before 9/11, yes, I heard you.
We're going there.
We're going there.
We were. I was at school, and it was bombs over Baghdad time, and I kept seeing stuff on the news of like cameras at nighttime. I was a little kid. I was like in elementary school. I would see on the news, I would see cameras at nighttime and big flashes. And I heard things about, kids dying in schools, casualties, civilian casualties, things like this, and I was like, what does all this mean? And I also started to think like, they're gonna bomb my school, like I was like, we're bombing their school, they're gonna bomb our school, like, I was like, what the fuck, and my dad was like, no, Karissa, like, they can't get over here. And I was like, what? Like, and he like, we didn't have the internet, I'm a little kid. And so he rolls out a map, rolls it out.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
Have I told you this story? He rolls it out. And then like, he goes, we're over here, and they're over here. And the gas tanks aren't big enough, and I was like,
well, they are big enough. Well, they are big enough.
I mean, like at that time, that was how he explained it. And I was like, oh my fucking God, like, I can't understand. Like, it's nuts. And then all of a sudden, like they attacked us on our ground. And it was like, there's always some way around it. I said that, my friend was like, fuck America, like, let's have our revolution already. And I was like, I can't get behind that. But I kind of feel like if anybody is gonna fuck America, it's gonna be America. But I mean, anybody could fuck America. But like I'm saying, like I think America will fuck itself. Is like when I get really sassy, like that's where I'm like, well, it would probably just fuck itself from the inside or something. Like I don't really know.
You realize that like if we did this podcast in most countries in this world, we would be arrested right now.
Yeah, we got a lot of freedom. That's my rights, my man-made idea, my rights. I get to
American
talk
dream
freely. It's interesting. I mean, I still find myself grateful. We've said a lot of positive and grateful things at the same time, but
we have. Mm-hmm.
I have nothing. I am I am
damn.
an ant. I am a freaking ant. I am a piece of cattle in the American system. Like I am minute. I am nothing. My little opinion going meh, 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 meh,
we are mundane.
nothing.
We are mundane, which is the word of the day. Random. So random. But yes, mundane is, we talked about this. Mundane.
Well, we said that our lives were somewhat mundane,
yes,
repetitive, and just what were the other words?
Monotonous.
Monotonous, mundane, and monotonous. Monotonous was just the same thing over and over again.
There's like wham or whim wum or oh god, there was another one. It was weird. It was a weird word.
My friend is here. She came. She was picking up her clothes.
Like she's physically here?
Yeah, she wants to. I'm like, here, let me see what she said. I knew this would happen.
Like she's actually like physically here. I mean, we can end the podcast right now. You want to end the podcast?
Well, no, she texted me just a minute ago. I mean, these things happen. The phones are pretty, you know, it's hard because like everything happens just through this one phone.
Damn.
Like all the conversations, anything you try to do, and your actual podcast.
Someone's trying to say hi to you, Karissa.
Hi, how are you? I'm doing good. I'm having a good weekend with my friend.
You're towards the end of this wonderful journey. Are we?
Yeah.
We are?
It's been an hour now, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been over an hour. We've been doing this for an hour and 16 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it was a good podcast. It's a lot of, to me, just like documenting the perspective of what our country's gone through. Our perspective of what our country's gone through recently.
We know Louis is adorable. Everyone knows that Louis is adorable. It's fact.
Thank you, my doggy dog. He's taking a big nap because he played with like a bunch of other pugs.
He was in a pug bowl.
Yeah, he had a puggy.
Did he win?
Pug bowl.
Did he get
there was no competition.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not like we made the pugs like play football.
Oh, that would be so cute.
I went to a pug